Welcome back, everybody. Today we got some new Noah Kahan, The Great Divide. I've only checked out maybe 2 or 3 of his songs off his first record. I'm assuming this is off a forthcoming second record. Let's get into it.
I can't recall the last time that we talked about anything but looking out for calls. We got cigarette burns in the same side of our hands. We ain't friends, we're just morons. We broke skin in the same spot. But I've never seen you take a turn that wide. And I'm high enough to still care if I die. So I tried to read the thoughts that you worked overtime to start. You said fuck off, and I said nothing for a while.
Man, interesting. As usual, man, lots to unpack lyrically, isn't there? The idea of both being morons, man. I've been thinking about this lately, you know. Let me play it up until that point again.
I can't recall the last time that we talked about anything but looking out for calls. We got cigarette burns in the same side of our hands. We ain't friends, we're just morons. We broke skin in the same spot.
Yeah, so we ain't friends, we're just morons. I don't know really how to approach this kind of, you know, I kind of want to be careful, I suppose, approaching this kind of subject. The subject of being a moron, you know. What is a moron? An idiot, a loser, certainly. I think from where I come from, most people are losers, man. I think I was a loser up until, you know, the last couple of years. Or a couple of years ago, I was still a loser, you know. What does it mean to be a loser? It's very easy, I think, for people to blame society for the lack of, for the state of their lives, perhaps, you know. And while systemic things may play a part in that, most people, from my experience of where I grew up, the people I grew up around, weren't really taking responsibility for their own lives. Or they were in certain ways, but were making a mess. We're not understanding or not realizing the impact of drinking too much, of not eating well, of eating crap all of the time, you know, of not moving your body, not exercising, you know. And because of that, I think it you're not giving yourself a fighting chance, I guess. And I suppose it is difficult for people. I suppose it's difficult for people in one way, easy for them in another. What's it difficult and easy to do? It may be difficult to escape that world, but it's easy to remain there, if you know what I mean. It's easy to remain there when everybody is doing it, you know, everybody is living like that, you know. And I get it. You're not educated the way that you could have been or should have been, perhaps because your school was shit, perhaps because your parents were shit, perhaps because your friends are shit. So you end up working in a shit job for shit money, and you think that, you know, you live for the weekend, for the evenings, or whatever it is, and maybe that, you know, it makes you, does it make you a bad person? Maybe that, I guess not, you know, but it might make you, you know, a poor parent or a poor friend. And maybe deep down, you know, you shouldn't be doing those things. You know, maybe it would be better if you could, you know, stop drinking or smoking. But people see it as fun, don't they? And it can be fun. But it's I think it steals things from people. It steals potential from people, doesn't it? And I was thinking about this recently, I suppose, in regards to my own parents, and realizing that they weren't good parents, realizing that and thinking, were they bad people, you know? And I don't think so, but our vibe attracts our tribe, doesn't it, you know? So my dad was, you know, an alcoholic, I suppose, you know. Mostly just he drank loads of beer, you know, but he drank it every day for his entire life. Smoked every day for his entire life. And because of that, you know, all of his friends were people that were in the pub every day, every evening after work or on the weekends or whatever, doing exactly the same. So, isn't it interesting, I suppose? Like, I think that's, whether it's that or whether it's something else, I don't know, that there just seems to be, what am I trying to say with this, man? This is something, a mad digression from this song, but what is that about, you know? It's the people you surround yourself with telling you that it's okay, consciously or unconsciously, thinking that these are okay ways to behave. And, you know, who am I to judge whether they are or whether they aren't? But the proof of the pudding's in the tasting, isn't it? And if you want your life to be better, if you want to not be a moron, if you want to not be a loser, if you want to be a winner, you need to take complete responsibility for yourself, for your life, which is what I've been trying to do over the last few years, you know. Which means you've got to stop doing everything that's holding you back, you know. And like, drinking is a big one, isn't it, man? And while it may seem fun in the moment, you're just borrowing happiness from the next day with interest, you know. And that stuff stacks up, man. It's just like you get it out, it gets out of control, just like a credit card can, you know. So you got to stop that shit. And little by little, you know, and every single day do that. So, yeah, I mean, that's triggered a hell of a digression, hasn't it, man? The first 30 seconds or whatever. But it's really that idea is really something that's been on my mind a bit recently.
We're just morons, we broke skin in the same spot. But I've never seen you take a turn that wide. And I'm high enough to still care if I die. So I tried to read the thoughts that you'd worked overtime to start. You said fuck off, and I said nothing for a while.
I think we all have those thoughts as well, you know. Lots of people do, don't they? You know, the thought that you've been trying to ignore, the thought that you don't want to hear. And drinking or eating or doing or gambling or shopping or whatever it is, those things are an attempt to mask that feeling, right? That voice that is uncomfortable, you know, that you don't want to listen to, you don't even want to hear, man. But if you want your life to progress, you've got to listen to it, man. That would it be your conscience, maybe? I ain't sure.
You know I think about you all the time, and my deep misunderstanding of your life, and how bad it must have been for you back then, and how hard it was to keep it all inside. I hope you settle down, I hope you marry rich, I hope you're scared of all the ordinary shit, like murderers and ghosts and cancer on your skin, and not your soul, and what he might do
This is a much bigger, varied sound than the songs I've checked out of his before. Enjoying it, you know.
all the time, and my deep misunderstanding of your life, and how bad it must have been for
I think lots of people misunderstand their life as well, you know, what life is for. And I think life is for learning and growing and evolving, right? Overcoming. I mean, I guess we can't really, I don't think we can really understand it while we're in it, you know. Same as when you have a dream, you know, you can't really understand what is going on. And even after when you wake up, it's difficult, isn't it? But I think that's what life is like.
of your life, and how bad it must have been for you back then, and how hard it was to keep it all inside. I hope you settle down, I hope you marry rich, I hope you're scared of all the ordinary shit, like murderers and ghosts and cancer on your skin, and not your soul, and what he might do You wedged yourself across the great divide. Hope you drove aimlessly along the Twin State Line. I heard nothing but the bass in every ballad that you'd play, while you swore to God this singer in your mind. The world is scared of hesitating things. Yeah, they only shoot the birds who cannot sing. So I'm finally aware of how shitty and unfair it was to stare ahead like everything was fine.
Yeah, that's an interesting way to put that, isn't it? I'm finally aware.
Finally aware of how shitty and unfair it was to stare ahead like everything was fine.
Yeah, so that's a meditation on ignorance, isn't it? You know, do not hide unwanted things in the fog. Do not brush things under the carpet. Don't hide them in the, you know, stack them away in a cupboard. Because eventually you're going to have to open the door and you'll be crushed under the weight of things if you put too much in there, right? I guess. And I'm an optimist, you know, so I do tend to say it's going to be fine. And I think I used to, ignore stuff. Of course I did, yeah. Of course I did. I was living improperly, you know. Hedonistically, sacrificing the moment. Sacrificing the future for the moment when I should have been sacrificing the moment for the future. Yeah.
No, I think about you
So is he talking? Is it? I do wonder with Noah if his songs kind of feel like he's singing to someone or a girl or something, but I also feel he's quite often just singing to himself, you know. Think about you all the time.
Everything was fine. No, I think about you all the time. My deep misunderstanding of your life.
I think about you all the time, my deep misunderstanding of your life. I'm still thinking about, that, still meditating on that thought, I guess, misunderstanding of life. Because we can, as far as I can tell, we can bargain with the universe, I think, to a degree. And the way we bargain by it is sacrifice, is voluntary sacrifice in the moment for a better future, you know. Sacrificing these things, you know. Well, what's that great thing about discipline, you know? Discipline is choosing between what you want now and what you want most. And I think it is about delaying gratification. Because just instant gratification and hedonism, it makes you weak as a person, doesn't it, I think? That's what we need to do, is train ourselves, you know, engineer ourselves to be strong. And often, I guess, you know, weakness comes from lack of it's from childhood, isn't it? You know, usually it's from lack of discipline, of structure, of love, of education, all of that stuff. And it is like metaphorically like being in the Matrix, isn't it? You know, I think that's why it's a good allegory, and it's a great film. It's a great metaphor for life, because I didn't realize, you know, like, I didn't realize any of this. I didn't understand any of this. And because of that, I remained, you know, an adolescent, you know, into my mid and late 30s, I suppose. The Peter Pan syndrome, you know, and Pan is like the god of all possibility, I think. I've mentioned that, or I've mentioned that many times before, but it's been a while, and I've never actually researched it again, but I think Pan is the god of all possibility. And what else is childhood or youth? It's infinite possibility, isn't it? But we need to choose a path and aim at something, because otherwise, I suppose that's what growing up is? Is that part of what growing up is?
How bad it must have been for you back then, and how hard it was to keep it all inside.
How hard it must have been for you back then. This, I don't know what he's singing about, you know, from his point of view. It's the beauty of music, isn't it, that it speaks to us all in different ways. And that, like, I suppose that makes me think about my dad a bit, you know, because he failed to understand life, I think, and he died of ignorance through ignoring so much, you know, ultimately. But he wasn't a bad person, I don't think. And after he died, I was, you know, clearing out the house and stuff, and he was a bit of a hoarder, and the garage was just backed up with, you know, stuff going back, you know, 30 years he'd had the house, and then like in drawers and boxes right at the back, I found like stuff from when he was a teenager and a kid, you know, like a letter like to and from his first girlfriend when he must have been like 16 or something, you know, and just reading that, man, was like kind of touching on, you know, his insecurities and his hopes and his dreams, you know, and talking about, and he talked about, you know, getting some weights and lifting, trying to get like stronger, and because he was quite, you know, a small guy, and, you know, trying to get stronger and fitter and healthier, and so that it was just that I only ever read it once, that letter, and then I've just kept it in a box for the last, like, what's it been, like 4 years or something since he died. But that I think that highlights for me something, I suppose, that I think, what does it highlight for me? You look at people, and you look at how people have ended up, if if their life hasn't worked out well, or whoever they are, they've got a whole life, haven't they? A whole history, a whole story, and God only knows what it is. And you can only play the hand that you've been dealt, haven't you? And if you've got no sort of roadmap or life skills, or if nobody has showed you the way, or you have been in places or communities that there is, like, how would you know? How would you know what the right thing to do is? How would you know the right way to be a person? How would you know any of that without good role models, or at least people in the periphery, or because I don't think I knew any of this existed. Any of these people existed. It was a very sort of sheltered thing, and I think where I grew up, many people had came from broken homes, More did than didn't, and I don't think your parents being together is a magic potion for fixing things either, is it? Because the parents of people that are my friends at school whose parents were still together, I don't think they did much of a better job. Didn't pay enough attention to their kids. All drank too much. We're all states, really, a lot of them, you know what I mean? But I don't know what to just, yeah. I wonder what the ladybird thing is about. Nice bit, man. He packs such emotion, doesn't he? He doesn't let up for a second. He packs such emotion into his tunes, man. And yeah, the scared of what he'll do with your soul bit's interesting, isn't it? So that just speaks on his religious beliefs, right? Or at least he believes in something enough to think that there's a devil, who might, or God, who might judge his soul after, right? Whereas I'm not sure that is what happens. I think it's right now, It's like, how do you know we're not in heaven and making a mess of it? And I guess I believe in reincarnation and stuff, and I mean, who really knows what the hell's going on? And I believe that today, but, tomorrow I might not. But I suppose when you live improperly, you walk yourself down into hell step by step in this life, right here, right now. So you've got to. That's why you need to take responsibility for yourself, and walk yourself up into heaven step by step. I don't I don't think it is. Because it all exists here, doesn't it? Here and now. Hell and heaven are right here on earth, you know. For many people, you know, it's there's the extremes and the spectrum, you know, of everything that's going on. So yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to work it out, you know. Just trying to do better, be better. This is a very nice bit.
Did you wish that I could know you fade to someplace I wasn't brave enough to go? I hope you settle down, I hope you marry rich, I hope you're scared of all the ordinary shit. Like murderers and ghosts and cancer on your skin, and not your soul, and what he might do with it. I hope you threw a brick right into that stained glass. I hope you're with someone who isn't scared to ask. I hope that you're not losing sleep about what's next, or about your soul and what he might do with it.
Yeah, powerful stuff, man. Powerful stuff. I guess in summary for me, it's, you know, be the change you wish to see in the world. He says I hope a lot, doesn't he? You know, I think that's, he hopes a lot of stuff, you know. And maybe, I don't know, if when we're younger, do some of us think, oh, let's change the world, let's make it a better place. Do we really understand what that means? I don't know. Be the change you wish to see in the world. I think that's the only way we can change anything, right? There can be no revolution without a revolution of self. Lead by example. Get your own, you know, stuff in order, you know, and then you don't need to preach, man. Just by osmosis, I think. It spreads that way, right? Probably, I guess that's the way it works. The opposite way as well, isn't it, you know? When everyone around you behaves a certain way, when they have bad habits, that when they, you know, when they have bad habits that are that seem normal, you know, are normalised, it spreads, doesn't it, you know? Anyway, aim up, ladies and gentlemen. Love to you. Thanks for watching. See you later.